Oh, yes, fans, it's Big People time. This Easter Sunday, it's brunch and Big People treasure hunt at Club Twilight Sideline. Oh, yes, fans, it's Big People time. This Easter Sunday, it's brunch and Big People treasure hunt at Club Twilight Sideline and Buxton North. Twilight Promotions and Camps TV presents the Big People Easter Brunch and Treasure Hunt. Starting time 11 o'clock. Special appearance by Michael Spencer. Oh, yes, fans, it's Big People time. This Easter Sunday, it's brunch and Big People treasure hunt at Club Twilight Sideline and Buxton North. Twilight Promotions and Camps TV presents the Big People Easter Brunch and TV presents the Big People Easter Brunch and Treasure Hunt. Starting time 11 o'clock. Special appearance by Michael Spencer. Special appearance by Mike. Starting time 11 o'clock. Special appearance by Michael Spencer. By Michael. Special appearance by Michael Spencer. One man band and popular DJ. Come on down. Club Twilight. This is the Sunday, 11 a.m. It's brunch and Big People treasure hunt. Win lots of cash, lots of fun, and lots of relaxation.
Never joke, never joke, never joke. Oh, money never, money never, money. I know what you conniving, money. Money never, money. You can keep your conniving, money. When you've been knocked for a bum, in a bills there be money. Now because your money done, you come with conniving money. When you had your pocket full, in a bills there be money. Now because your money done, you hustle for tell me money. Yes, money never, money never, money. Now know what you conniving money. Neighbor joker, neighbor joker, neighbor joker. That's all the money that me walk for. A 2 pound note and a guilder piece. A 2 pound note and a guilder piece. A 2 pound note and a guilder piece. This is all the money that me walk for. I said money neighbor, money. I know what you can I be money. Oh, Joseph.
Guyana and Guyanese, at home and abroad. Tune in to Guyanese Morning Time, hosted by Kadaki Amsterdam, where the sun always shines. Guyanese Morning Time, The people call it Guyanese morning time. Rhythm, rhythm, Guyanese morning time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again, Guyanese morning time. The people call it Guyanese morning time. Rhythm, rhythm, Guyanese morning time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again. We rise up early morning watching Tom's TV, where wisdom and knowledge, yes, it is the key. Exposing corruption over land and sea, where the wicked politicians they try to trick me. Guyana is a land for everybody. With 6 races should live in harmony. Is one set of people getting aisle money. Is one set of people doing the thievery. Guyanese morning time. The people calling Guyanese morning time. Rhythm, rhythm, Guyanese morning time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again, Guyanese morning time. The people calling Guyanese morning time. Rhythm, rhythm, Guyanese morning time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again. This is a program that you all can see. Sharing your views and your integrity. Like it, comment and share it all around. Pass it to your neighbor, safe and sound. A sad situation going on in this town. The voice of the people is getting trampled down. Out of the mouths of babes and sucklings, with Jah as ordained me to sing. I sing Guyanese morning time. The people calling Guyanese morning time. Rhythm, rhythm, Guyanese morning time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again, Guyanese morning time. The people calling Guyanese morning time. Rhythm, rhythm, Guyanese morning time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again, fooling the people. You're promoting evil. Stop lying to the people. You are a part of the cycle. Stop fooling people. You're promoting evil. Stop lying to the people. You are a part of the cycle. I say Guyanese morning time. The people calling Guyanese morning time. Rhythm, rhythm, Guyanese morning time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again, Guyanese morning time. The people calling Guyanese morning time. Rhythm, rhythm, Guyanese morning time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again, they got Breakford, Bork and Mark Benchcop. David Hines and Kadaki Amsterdam. Sherrod Duncan, Nigel London. Normal Brown and Gavin Matthews. Big up Paslow, poor people governor. Simona Brooms, Robin Simpson. Hampton Green and Winston Jordan. And yes, we can go right on and on. Guyanese morning time. The people calling Guyanese morning time. Rhythm, rhythm, Guyanese morning time. Intelligence and knowledge.
We'll talk about that.
We go again, Guyanese morning time. The people calling Guyanese morning time. Rhythm, rhythm, Guyanese morning time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again.
The relatives and friends of young Quinton Bacchus, they deserve justice. The family, the relatives and friends of our in Boston, they deserve justice. The family, the relatives and friends of Peter Headley, they deserve justice.
And so when we say that Guyana is an apartheid state, we have the evidence to show.
Do you want to know more about 19th and 20th century Guyana? Then become a part of the Institute of Click Skills episodes in Guyanese history. It's an online 6 week course beginning on March 19th and every Wednesday from 6 to 8 p.m. Your lecturer is Dr. Nigel Westmas. Registration is in progress. Registration fee $2,000, course fee $8,000. For more information, call 753-6047 or 223-1571. Email at admin.clickedskills.co.uk. Get the knowledge. Learn more about your Guyanese history through episodes in Guyanese history, 19th and 20th century. Get on board. Get registered today.
Marching towards the shining future, courage high, the past is gone. Overcoming fear and counting mountain glory, sunrise dawn. Through the storm goes dark and glory, through face lightning, flash and flame. One Republic of Guyana, glorify Guyana's name. Forward, forward, youthful nation, ride with power beyond man's might. May his strength forever gratitude strive, unceasingly for right. From Guyana's base consummate to white surface streets that gray, bid thy people dear Guyana, strong, united, loyal, free. My Guyana, my Guyana, my Guyana. My Guyana, El Dorado, as the border world away. In my heart wherever I wander, memory enshrined me. All my hopes and aspirations, all my longings, only tie everlasting bonds around us as the fleeting years roll by. My Guyana, El Dorado, my Guyana, time's unfolding and for my destiny, to redeeming lasting splendor for the years that lost for me. And the dawning of thy glory, for the long, long night is past. Oh, arise triumphant, glorious, from the ashes of the past. Oh, arise triumphant, glorious, from the ashes of the past. Guyana, oh my lovely native land, more dear to me than all the world, I see what sun is strand. Pour down upon the borders, looking out upon the deep, the great Atlantic rolling to a fury. For asleep, at morn, at noon, or entering the crimson sunset's glow, I love thee, I love you, I love thee. Oh, oh, beautiful Guyana, oh, my lovely native land, more dear to me than all the world, I see what sun is strong. The great Atlantic glory to a pure, glory to a pure, the sea, at morn, at noon, or better in the presence as though I love thee, I love thee, I love thee. Guyana, I want to serve my country. Guyana, beautiful, happy, and free. Guyana, let's cooperate with our government to help develop Guyana the free. Together, my comrades, we'll build our new Guyana, a country where all have equal opportunity. So let us begin now to show loyalty to Guyana by showing love and respect for all that it is. My brothers, my sisters, we will live and die here together. On to one people, one nation, one destiny. For harmonious living, cooperation will be forever. In work and play as we live as proud Guyanese. Guyana, I want to serve my country. Guyana, beautiful, happy, and free. Guyana, let's cooperate with our government to help develop Guyana the free. Well, it's time we settle all the riches in the interior. Our natural resources are there in great quantity. And we will do farming and establish towns by the border. With global food so we could fill all Guyanese. My greatest desire is to serve my country, Guyana, and sincerely help Guyana to move along. Our government asks us that we study hard and we learn the things that will help Guyana to become strong. Guyana, I want to serve my country. Guyana, beautiful, happy, and free. Guyana, let's cooperate with our government to help develop Guyana the free. To help develop Guyana the free.
All right, so today
All right, so
yes, fans, it's Big People time. This Easter Sunday, it's brunch and Big People treasure hunt at Club Twilight Sideline and Buxton North. Twilight Promotions and Camps TV presents the Big People Easter Brunch and Treasure Hunt. Starting time 11 o'clock. Special appearance by Michael Spencer, one-man band and popular DJ. Come on down, Club Twilight. This Easter Sunday, 11 a.m. It's brunch and Big People treasure hunt with lots of cash, lots of fun, and lots of relaxation. Oh, yes, fans, it's Big People time. This Easter Sunday, it's brunch and Big People treasure hunt at Club Twilight Sideline and Buxton North. Twilight Promotions and Camps TV presents the Big People Easter Brunch and Treasure Hunt. Starting time 11 o'clock. Special appearance by Michael Spencer, one-man band and popular DJ. Come on down, Club Twilight. This Easter Sunday, 11 a.m. It's brunch and Big People treasure hunt with lots of cash, lots of fun, and lots of relaxation.
Small days is still on my mind. Small days is a good time. Neighbor and some little children. I met the singing and the dancers really admire them. Small days is still for one,
Come the day,
and she won't give me one.
come the day,
You see that girl there,
come the day,
named Dorothy.
come the day,
She fat like a butter,
come the day,
and she muggle like a chow.
come the day.
Oh, small days is still on my mind. Small days is a good, good time. Never had some little children. I'm gonna sing it and that's really admire them. What they're singing? On your carpet,
You must be
like the roses,
all you need.
bright and shining.
You must be
And show me the one
love the best.
when I marry.
Give you the rain,
First the girls,
second the boys.
Sunday, Monday,
Afternoon,
we will spend our honeymoon. Oh, small days is still on my mind. Small days is a good, good time. Never had some little children. I'm gonna sing it and that's really admire them. Join the singing. Old man house on fire. The old man ran away. He ran for the police to get the water. The only fire down there. Escalated, shoot, shoot, shoot. Escalated, shoot, shoot, shoot. And now wipes the lady face. The lady wipes the lady face. And she fell down, and she fell down, and she fell in the ocean too. Oh, small days is still on my mind. Small days is a good, good time. Never had some little children. I'm really singing and the dancers really admire them. Hear them singing? Children, children,
yes, mama,
where you been?
grandmama,
What she give you?
bread and cheese,
Where is mine?
on the shelf,
How big a get up?
climb on the chair.
Suppose it all.
Be not gay,
Bad picnic,
be not gay,
wicked picnic.
be not gay.
Oh, small days is still on the mind. Small days is a good, good time. Neighbor, some little children. I'm gonna sing it and the dusters really admire them. I'm gonna sing it and the dusters really admire them. I'm gonna sing it and the dusters really admire them.
And when them singing and them dancing, I really admire them. Only then you admire them. Morning, welcome to another program of Guyanese Morning Time. It is 19 minutes to the 8 o'clock hour. It's Monday, the 23rd day of March in the year 2026. How you been? How you doing? How was it yesterday? How was it last night? What went on for you this weekend? I'm feeling tingly. I wonder why. What went on for you this weekend? What have you done for the weekend for yourself? What have you done for yourself over the weekend? What life-changing decisions did you make? We are just a few days, 8 days away from the end of this month. And then we got to start talking about the end of a quarter. It's the end of a quarter. What have we been able to achieve for the end of a quarter? By the end of this quarter, the Black Economic Empowerment Society, BEES, $1 Million Club, would have put resources into people's hands through the cooperative effort at least 4 persons. At least 4 persons would have benefited from approximately $1 million each through the spirit of cooperatives, through pooling their resources together by the end of this first quarter. And so I'm thinking if BEES as an organization can achieve that. Brand new baby out of the block. It didn't start crawling yet or no crawling. If BEES can bring that to reality for subscribers and members and supporters and, of the organization, 4 millionaires in the first quarter of the year. Um, and I think that would be an achievement. What do you think? I think that's an achievement. One of the things I would love to do, I mean, I have a very, I'm a different person. I have tremendous respect for people's privacy and their business and so on. But one of the things I wish I could do is find out from those persons, what have you done with your money? You know, what have you done with your money? I know the person collected the last payout had a list, and they said to me, Mr. Amsterdam, I feel so proud. I can do all of these things that I wanted to do at once. All of these things that I wanted to do, I can now do them at once, thanks to this susu, thanks to this encouragement to join the $1 Million Club. That was the third person. I can't tell you about the second person. I can't tell you too much about the first person. But yes, I know, I think I have an idea about the second person. And I hope that that person's dream comes to fruition, comes to reality quickly, right? But I can say that as we approach the end of the first quarter, I feel good. I feel good for some of the things that I, as an individual, and Bees as an organization, and CAMS TV, what we've been able to achieve so far, right? What we've been able to achieve so far. What are your achievements? What are you proud of? What are you looking forward to? What do you need assistance with? Because we are here to assist. We can give you guidance. We can point you to directions where you can get resources of a certain kind, maybe resources that we can't provide for you. But don't give up on those short-term goals. Don't give up on those medium to long-term goals either, right? Sometimes you just have to take a step back, catch your breath, and then continue to push forward. That's my encouragement to you this morning. It's 40 minutes to the 8 o'clock hour on the 23rd of March. Let me remind you, because I have to remind you, I would like to remind you that, coming up Easter Sunday, we have the brunch. Easter Sunday brunch, it's Twilight Promotions and CAMS TV. Easter Sunday brunch and treasure hunt. It's an adult event, $5,000 for a ticket, and the fun starts at 11. The fun starts at 11. Okay. Those of you who like to dress up in your fancy Easter hats, feel free, dress up in your fancy Easter hats, because we're going to have a quick, judging and decide who has the most beautiful hat, the most innovative hat, and so on. And those persons will get some prizes. Likewise, the treasure hunt. Treasure hunt promises to be fun. You're going to find lots of surprises and lots of fun in those Easter eggs, in those packets. As you search and you find things, I am sure it's going to be a lot of fun. Good. And so also those of you who like table games and so on, we have a lot of table games. I know for a fact we might play a two or three or four or five or six or 10, depending on what you want. Because it's all about fun for the patrons and so on. We're going to play some bingo, for example. We're going to play some bingo. We don't got the bingo stuff there. So we can play some bingo and see we are going to win. Good. We want to make it fun in that we want to have different currencies as part of the hunt and part of the prizes, right? So you might get a Canadian dollar, a US dollar, a euro, a Guyanese dollar, different currencies we plan to put among the goodies that you will search for, and so on and so forth. Some of the finds will be fun, some of the finds will be joyful, some of the finds might be simply comical. So come down Easter Sunday. You can start buying your tickets. Tickets are $5,000 each. You can hit me up for tickets. And so on and so forth. Or even if you plan to come, let's say you plan to come, and you tell yourself you're too far away to buy the ticket or come to buy the ticket and then come back to the event and so on, at least RSVP, right? At least you can RSVP. Indicate to us that, listen, Mr. Amsterdam, four of us are coming to your event. Five of us will be coming. 10 of us will be coming. And so you help us to plan and plan appropriately. Good, because remember, it's an event that entails providing food for people to start with, providing seating accommodation for people to start with. You're not going to stand at a brunch and eat. You have to sit. At least I would assume so. Good table manners, right? And if you're staying here for an extended time, which I expect you would do, then you would want comfort. And so if we get the indications that, listen, 10 of us are coming, then we know that this is 10 persons who didn't buy tickets, but they are coming. And so we have to cater for them too, right? We don't want you to turn up and then there's no food for you. Understand that? So don't just turn up as a surprise. We like surprises, but it's nice if you can, indicate. Some events are like that. You just have to get indications from people so that you can proceed accordingly. Right? Good. It's Monday morning. I tell you, I'm just recovering from the weekend. And if Amy is asking if she can WhatsApp the money, I think you want to say Cash App. Right? I don't know where you're located, Annette, but if you're located in Guyana, you can MMG us and send us the message and the indication that you've paid for your ticket by MMG. Yes, you can pay by MMG. Right? Those of you who are overseas and you want to support the venture, you can Zelle us, you can Cash App us. If you have people locally here, you can have them act on your behalf and so on and so forth. So, simple thing. Contact Mr. Amsterdam 6225933 by WhatsApp and we'll work out how you can contribute to the event, how you can buy your ticket. Yes, Annette, you can MMG us, right? Whether you're here locally or whether you're overseas. You can sponsor somebody. A big person who you think needs some outing and maybe, they really can't afford it, but is a good neighbor. They used to hold your hand while you were crossing the road as a school child and so on and so forth. They used to give snacks money and thing, and you want to reward them. It's Easter Sunday, help them to get out and have some fun. Right? Help them to get out and have some fun. So that's what I'm thinking. When we put these events together, I always think about the elders, how we can get the elders out, how I can get them big people and have them have some real fun and so on. Get those stress out their head. Yes, Denise, I totally agree with you. Prepping for people who didn't pay is not such a great business idea. But I deal, or I should say we deal, I personally, I deal with people on a basis of trust. And if you were to say, Mr. Amsterdam, 10 of us will come. 10 of us will come to the event, but we ain't buying the ticket now or we ain't close enough to buy the ticket and so on. 10 of us will come. I will trust you, Dennis. I will trust you. In any event, one of the things I know for a fact as an event planner, well, I don't even know if I'm an event planner. Sometimes I don't exhibit the right energies. Is you always cater for 1% or 2%, walk-ins. You cater for 1 or 2% walk-ins. So maybe those will find themselves among that lot, right? But at the end of the day, sometimes you just have to trust the people you deal with. If you can't trust the people you deal with, then why deal with them? Right? Why deal with them? Good. Yeah, so thank you for your advice. And I do agree, it's not the best thing to, prep for people who pay. Because if you really want to come and you want to support the thing, you'll find a way to pay. Right? You'll find a way to pay. Right, so I am looking forward to that event. And somebody requested, Saturday night was an impromptu release session, and somebody requested information as to whether or not we're going to be doing anything in May month. It's the Independence Month, and so yes, likely around the Independence period, we're going to put together something again. One of my advisors said we should do a big people release. Big people only is they got some description in front of the thing, some woobly goobly. Right? Big people only is I like the idea. I like the idea with one man band and stereo set and so on and so forth. So you can look forward to that event sometime in May, sometime around the independence period. Good. So that's it. That. Oh no, that is not it. That. Let me tell you that the Institute of Click Skills, the program continues this Wednesday from 6 to 8, and they're still doing registration. If you have already been registered, or if you're coming to register now, when you bring somebody along, you get free registration, right? You get free registration. So bring a friend, and one of you will benefit from free registration. That's all of this week. So those of you who plan to get registered, call up a friend and say, "Let me go and do this thing, man. It's useful information. It's not a whole lot for the knowledge that we will gain. And if we do it in pairs, at least somebody will benefit from free registration. So please remember that, right? Good. What are we tracking this morning in terms of politics and I dare say economics? Um, Let me tell you, I am not a fan of war. I don't believe that humanity should be as brutish as it is. I don't believe that people should be taking each other's lives the way we do. But when I look at the U.S., Iran, Israel war, I smile to myself ever so often because I've been trying to keep track of what's happening and so on, and I smile. I smile ever so often because there's so many lessons to learn from this war. Done? There's so many lessons to learn from this war. First and foremost, let me point out, in case you didn't know, those of us who are in Guyana, I know for a fact the people in Europe and North America and so on should be aware by now that one of the immediate impact of this war is the rising fuel prices. Gaia Oil was able to keep fuel prices low or pre-war at pre-war prices a couple of weeks. This is about the fourth week of the war, or fifth perhaps. But Gaia has been able to, or was able to keep the prices low up until about last weekend. Because last weekend, Gaia oil prices moved from maybe about $170 to $190 a liter. So those of you who just like to pull up at the tank at the pump and say, "Fill me up," understand that you're going to have to pay, I think, about 33% more at the pumps. Right, about 33% more at the pumps. And I say 33% more because I'm judging from my own tank. What used to give me a full tank is now giving me 3/5 of a tank, right? The 3/5 of a tank. So I'm thinking, you should be aware that when you go to the tanks, to the pumps now, you're going to be paying more for fuel. If you pay more for fuel, you will pay more for food. And so I expect more people to be poor. I expect more people to be malnourished. I expect more people to be bawling for the economic hardships, right? If you haven't seen it as yet, just keep looking for it. And I can tell you I've seen it, right? So it's happening out there already. It's happening out there already. We have to plan as a people, recognize the fact that this thing is going to, recognize the fact that this thing is not short term. Even if the war were to be finished tomorrow, the impact on economies around the world will continue to be present for quite a while, especially Guyana. Guyana is a place where we used to have riddles and we used to say what goes up and never comes down. In Guyana, the answer is price, right? The answer is price. The answer is price. We have a way in this country when prices go up because of world shocks and so on. We're quick to increase our prices because of those world events. But when things return to normalcy around the world, we're not quick to revert. We do not reduce our prices. So the prices that you see skyrocketing as a result of this war and the oil impact, price increase on oil and so on, expect that those prices will be around us for a while. Yes, and that's a fact. Cooking gas is increasing price from $5,000 approximately to $5,300. Um, we witnessed that. I know that for a fact in the village here, because we have a guy who does delivery of gas, and his price has definitely gone up. Right, so don't expect, like I'm saying, those prices which have shifted upward to be released, be reduced, even if the war were to come to an end tomorrow or even months after, because we don't have that decency, I dare say, to adjust our prices according to the world market prices and so on. This is not Guyana. As Mr. Jordan said, we ain't got no free market here. We ain't got no invisible hand controlling anything. It's people and their own emotions and their ability to monopolize things and form cartels. Because what we have in this country is a lot of businessmen who have come together and formed cartels. That's how I see them. And not cartel in the sense of illicit drug, right? Cartel doesn't only define illicit drug dealings. Cartel is a group of businesses basically conspiring together to suck the lifeblood out of a particular commodity and their consumers. And that is what we have in this country. A lot of cartels exist. So we are going to be faced with the long-term crisis and shocks, if you call them that. So don't be surprised. Good. Start planning for that. I know your government said they're paying the $100,000 or they have started paying the $100,000. Is a drop in the ocean. But start to strategize how you are going to be able to use that $100,000 to cushion the impact of rising prices on your family. Okay? You have to start to strategize how you're going to use that $100,000. Again, my simple advice usually is invest it in something. Meat prices will go up. And so if you could buy a couple yard fowls and rear them, assuming you have no problem eating yard fowl, then you are securing your source of protein, your source of meat there. Or if you're not a yard fowl type, then you buy a few broiler chicks, you invest in a few broiler chicks, and so you're securing your supply of protein, your supply of meat. Good. Think about those things. If you can afford it, even with your $100,000 grant, when you go to the supermarket, try to buy in bulk. Yes, it's your household, but buy wholesale. You know for a fact that based on history, the family uses 5 pounds of margarine over a month. Usually you buy a pound every time you go to the market on the weekends. Just walk in one of the wholesale places and buy 5 containers of margarine. You get it at the wholesale price, you save some money. Same goes to soap. Same goes for what? Toothpaste. Same goes for anything, any consumable in your homes. Buy as if you're buying for a shop or a store. Buy on the wholesale price. You'll save a few dollars. And say you might be able to stretch your 100,000 a little farther than if you just go and shop with it retail. Right? That's one of my advice in terms of easing the financial burden. Um, Definitely plant some things around the yard. We call your fresh greens and vegetables, we refer to them as cash crops. Most of them are about 6 weeks crops. Plant food around the yard. Because when you go to the market, remember, the farmer utilizes fuel too. And so the farmer is going to pass that increase in price of fuel on to you. And even if the farmer doesn't hmm, use fuel, assume the farmer doesn't use fuel, there are other things that the farmer uses and his family has to use that the prices will go up. And so he is going to have to adjust his prices in order to earn enough to take care of his expenses. So at the end of the day, there will be an impact on food prices. And to cushion that, my advice is plant something around the yard. You like callaloo, chuck to callaloo by the drain side. So even if when you forget to water it, it got a little water, they're going to keep them alive. Right? Do a few holes of boro. You're going to get more boro to eat than you would pay for at the market. Right? And these are short-term crops. That's my advice to you. That's my advice to you, right? So keep that in mind. You're gonna get your $100,000. See how you best you can use your wisdom, your space, your community to stretch it so that you will ease the impact of inflation and higher prices and so on because of the war. I see, and I laughed just some because Adam Prasad said the best way to deal with whatever inflation you're facing is to stop smoking and stop drinking. some some people will tell you that since inflation and price rises and so on is they're factors of stress, the best way to deal with them would be to drink and smoke. And that is why I chuckled, because a lot of people would turn to drinking and smoking. Weed, especially Adam Prasad, to deal with the stress that will come from this period of inflation and so on. So while your advice might be good, there's also a flip side to that. A lot of people will turn to drugs and uppers and downers and all kinds of things to deal with the situation. Right? So keep that in mind. I'm still talking about the impact of the war or what's happening, what I'm seeing happening. With Trump threatening, I'm looking, at least I'm paying attention to see. You know, sometimes you make some utterances and then you are immediately sorry that you made them. Trump has issued a 48 hours ultimatum to Iran. I wonder if that time hasn't passed yet. Right? I wonder if the time hasn't passed yet. 48 hours to open the Strait of Hormuz so that the petroleum could flow, or face an attack on their energy supply, the Iranian energy supply in terms of its electricity grid and so on and so forth. Right? Yes. So Trump has issued this 48 hours ultimatum. Listen, if you have to open the Strait of Hormuz in 48 hours, I am going to attack your energy grid. And the Iranians said, like they previously said, be our guest, man. Oh, and Chen is saying that he is now giving them 5 more days. I learned something over the years, and I'll tell you about that just now. So he said 48 hours. And they said, be our guest, man. Attack our energy grid. and the Middle East will go dark. Attack our energy grid, and the Middle East will go dark in less than 24 hours. So you're giving us 48, but in less than 24 hours, we could darken this part of the world. So you attack our energy grid. And as if to prove a point that we ain't only gaffing, the people put up what I want to call a map showing every major energy source that they plan to attack should Trump attack their energy grid. Now, obviously, a lot of these places that they plan to attack would be allies of the US and Israel. And so, by those utterances, I think that they have really pulled a Trump card, because they're now forcing their allies to say to the US and Israel, hey, back off. Don't do that. Don't go there, because if you do that, if you go there, we will feel the heat. Peter won't pay for Paul, and Paul won't pay for Paul. We will feel the heat. Don't do it. As an ally, we are telling you not to do it. The other option is to ask you to leave our territory. Right? And that is interesting, because when the world bully, the big bad bully, told himself that, I'm going to get these people to quiver in fear. I'm going to get them to run and duck and hide and do my biddings. Every day, he's recognizing that, in my mind, he barked up a tree that he didn't realize was as thorny as it is. Did not realize it's as thorny as it is. And so there are lots of lessons coming out of Iran. Don't underestimate people because they're quiet. Just a silent river runs deep. And so they're starting to see the real capability of Iran, because up until now, or up until recently, this last weekend or so, I don't think Iran had used any ballistic missile. But over the last weekend, it did some serious damage, at least to the psyche of the Israelis and allies of the US, because it has shown that it has the capability, at least one of its missiles has the capability to reach into Europe. Into Europe. Do you know what that means? And as I said earlier, the Iranians are playing like little boys. Knock get knock back, tit for tat. They're preempting anything, quite frankly. They're waiting. Anything you can do, we can do it better. And so when they attacked certain aspects of the Iranian existence, then the Iranians turn around and they do the same thing. They attack theirs. And so if I were any of the allies, I would say to the US, please, I'll leave them people energy grid alone, because we want ours. That's what they use. Yes, in case I wasn't clear in what I said up until this weekend, the Iranians had not used any ballistic missiles. But this recent round of attacks is when they brought out ballistic missiles and proved that they had the capacity, at least the one in the Indian Ocean has the capacity to go into Europe. And that obviously is troubling, because Israel and the US now and their allies Now I have to start to contemplate, well, we didn't know these people got this thing. We never calculated for this thing. But now they are showing that they got the ability, we got to go back to the drawing boards. And we have to go back to the drawing boards at a time when our defense is weak. Because remember the earlier drone attacks and so on achieved some level, some degree of success in destroying the interception capabilities of Israel and the US and their allies, like the Iron Dome and so on. Remember, that is much weakened from all of the drone attacks that it had to deal with. Good strategy, right? So they are not operating at full capacity, but now that they are not at full capacity, now that they have been wounded, which a lot of them are not, and a lot of people perhaps around the world are not ready to accept that, Israel and US in this war are now wounded in terms of the capacities. Iran is now bringing out its big gunners. It is now bringing out its big gunners. So that is strategy in my mind. That is strategy. Let's see where that goes. I am watching. I'm watching because one of the things I said I learned early, I learned as a youngster, is unless you know you could do it, don't give people ultimatum. Do not give people ultimatum. Unless you know that you're prepared to act, don't make certain threats. And so I think it's when we're saying that Trump is now giving Iran 5 more days to open the Hormuz Strait. That's already a victory for the Iranians. Because we said to you, do it. You want us to, if we don't act in 48 hours, what you will do? We haven't acted in 48 hours. But we have told you what we will do if you were to attack us in 48 hours. Put us to the test. You have failed to put us to the test. You have failed to stick to your threat. And so we are holding our position. Let us see what will happen in 5 days. Nathan Fraser, and what if the US ambassador is listening to me? If there's one thing I treasure, and I encourage people to treasure, is their freedom. I'm entitled to my opinions. I have a freedom of speech, and I will treasure that and use it for as long as I have life. And if you're insinuating that, you know, the US gonna hold it against you because you criticize them for starting a war that wasn't necessary, and you criticize them for putting the world at risk economically, and you're sharing your opinion on the war and the development of warfare and so on and so forth, they're gonna hold it against you and you're gonna gang go in the country, they're gonna take back their visa. What the hell was that? Those of you who know me, and those of you who've been following this program since I started it, know that I've always said my dream is to live and grow in Guyana. And having a foreign visa is not necessary for me. I have a US visa that maybe is approaching 4 years now. I traveled on it once. To go to that Washington conference. That was the reason I had to get it. And again, y'all know y'all had to practically coerce me into getting it. So I got it. And I went to the conference. I learned a lot. I must say I learned a lot by observing for the week or two the way of life of the Americans and so on. I always refer to some of what I observe when I am discussing development and developmental issues in this country. Yeah, it's educating. It was an educating trip. But does that mean I give up my freedom to speak on any issue? Because, well, listen, there's a problem with y'all in the Caribbean, you know. Y'all accustomed to these blasted dictators that you shape your life and your responses to life around these dictators. What these dictators could do and might just want to do. This is why you got a president that is spineless, a jellyback president, and a lot of prime ministers around the Caribbean that are just as jellyback. That they ain't even got the testicular fortitude to say to the US, listen, man, this thing got to be a crime against humanity that you are doing against Cuba. How can you say that you want to save a nation, you want to rescue a nation, you want a nation to enjoy democracy, but in the same breath you're saying that we're going to ban fuel, we're going to embargo fuel, nobody must be allowed to provide or supply fuel to this nation. We must bring them to their knees with fuel. But we love them so much that we want to save the citizens. Come on, jackasses, if that's the proper name to address you by. Your actions are not saying that you love the Cuban people. Your actions are not saying that you are as concerned for the Cuban people as you are saying. Because at the end of the day, when you embargo fuel and they have no electricity on their grid, the babies will die in hospital for incubation. There'll be all forms of suffering for the people of the nation. Starvation gonna be the order of the day. And you sit out there and you say, well, yeah, we're going to beat them to the ground. We're going to get them to do what we want. At what cost? The same cost that Haiti is paying? And why we do that? Why many of us keep our mouths zipped on these inhumanities and these excesses from these people who tell themselves that they got the right to do what they like in God's world? We want the freedom of travel. We want a visa. How can a visa, the possession of a visa, trump the respect for human life and well-being? Y'all explain that to me, man. So the U.S. ambassador listening, the U.S. ambassador perhaps could, you know, listen to this banner from Buxton Bagnam side and decide whether or not he or she is superior in any way, shape, or form whether or not they got different or superior mentality, whether their humanity is a superior version of my humanity on these issues. But I stand on what I say. The Iran war was uncalled for. The turmoil in which it has thrown the world is uncalled for. And instead of trying to, I would say, appease the situation, the US through Trump is continuing to stoke a flame that by now it should recognize it has no control over. How does an international power, a world power that has all of the capacity to spy and espionage and all of these things, how couldn't it reason, recognize and understand that the Iranian leaders that it wiped out. It wiped out. In the early days of this war, were more conservative than those who will take the place. As was one of them said, when I dead, another Rasta gonna take my place. How couldn't they factor in that? According to them in Israel, they kill out a whole set of, as I would say, top of the line Iranian leaders. But these are people who over the years have shown a willingness to negotiate and come to compromises and so on. And intelligence has shown that below these people are hardliners who got no interest with negotiation. Whose sole concern and motivation is to see the backs of Israel and US in that territory. Now, common sense would tell me that if those are the two sets of people I got to choose from, I would rather deal with those who I can negotiate with. But in all of this exhibition of superiority, these people, I don't know, the thinking suggests differently. The thinking suggests differently. And so I'm continuing to look at this war, and I'm learning my lessons, and I hope other people are learning their lessons. I hope Trinidad, for example, has learned its lessons. Remember when Trinidad allowed, in the interest of regional security, the US to put a watch station on their territory when they were going after Venezuela? And it was touted as some bilateral, perhaps, arrangement that will benefit Trinidad in the long run in terms of national security and so on. Venezuela, Maduro is no longer in charge in Venezuela. The US has had its way with Maduro. And just as how they moved Maduro to Venezuela, are you aware that they've moved their workstation out of Trinidad? So Trinidad was, excuse me for using this term, Trinidad was treated like a common prostitute. Used for a fee and then refused. Used for a fee and then refused. I hope in this instance they got a fee and not just a promise. So while many of our Caribbean leaders are hugging up and loving up the Trump administration and not being bold enough to say to them that you're destroying the peace that we enjoyed in this section of the world and the camaraderie, the people of Cuba are under tremendous stress. They're dying, not from bombs and drones and missiles and so on, but from the denial of resources to the government. And not resources that they're begging for, but resources that they are willing to pay for and can pay for. We got Caribbean leaders who have benefited from them over the years, who just in the interest of a visa have sold out on that Caribbean nation. Yeah, make it make sense. So if the ambassador listen, let the ambassador listen. I have my positions, right? I have my belief. I have my understandings. I could choose to do the same thing. It's Monday. Dr. Hines should have been on the program. It's 28 minutes past the 8 o'clock hour. I haven't seen Dr. Hines. The lines are open. 6225933 is the number to call. And while you're deciding if you want to call or not, let me share this story with you. And I'm sharing it with you because I think it's comical. Y'all could see the comedy in it perhaps when I'm done reading it. ERC urges stronger push against racial discrimination. ERC urges stronger push against racial discrimination. The Ethnic Relations Commission joined the international community in observing the International Day for the Elimination of Racial Discrimination on Saturday under the theme, quote, Mobilizing Political Will, 60 years of commemorating the International Day for the Elimination of Racial Discrimination, end quote. In a statement, the ERC said the milestone offers an opportunity not only to reflect on global progress, but also to reaffirm the urgency of sustained action to eliminate all forms of racial prejudice. The ERC noted that in Guyana, where diversity is a defining feature of national identity, the Commission emphasizes that harmony must be actively nurtured through understanding, respect, and inclusive engagement. The ERC remains committed to its constitutional mandate of promoting harmony and good relations among all ethnic groups, recognizing that social cohesion is essential to sustainable national development. End quote. The Commission said over the past year, it has advanced a range of initiatives aimed at strengthening public awareness and encouraging. Caller, hold the line, mute please. Mute and hold the line, please. Strengthening public awareness and encouraging responsible social conduct. End quote. Social conduct. These include nationwide school and community engagements, extensive diversity, equity, and inclusion training within the public and private sector, and ongoing media monitoring and investigative efforts to address instances of racially insensitive or prejudicial remarks, particularly within digital spaces. Open quote. While progress continues to be made, the Commission notes that emerging challenges, especially within online platforms, require sustained attention. The ERC therefore encourages all citizens to exercise responsibility in the public discourse and to contribute positively to the promotion of mutual respect and understanding. On this observance, the Commission calls for continued collaboration among public institutions, civil society, private sector entities, and communities to reinforce the values of tolerance and inclusion. The Commission reaffirms its dedication to fostering a Guyana in which our ethnic diversity is respected, differences are understood, and all citizens can coexist in an environment of peace and harmony, the ERC statement concluded. Carly, you can unmute and speak.
Morning, Kadaki, and morning,
Good morning
Guyana.
to you.
Um, in reference to the war that's taking place in the Middle East in that region, um, I think what we've heard a lot, and especially if we're listening to these corporate news media, is what Iran they're saying is was it state sponsor of terrorism when the biggest terrorist is in the United States and Israel regimes, respectively. Um, how how do you assassinate or murder the leader of a state, and we don't even we brush an eye and say it's targeted killing? Now, when Iran start to do the same thing that they have done to their leaders, then the story becomes they're terrorists and stuff like that. So what they have done is normalize killing state leaders, murdering them. And we have to understand not only those leaders are dying, the people who are with they're with is actually being murdered as well. And when we look at the world, it is the United States that is the most purveyor of violence in this world. So For a lot of us that have listened to CNN and Fox and all of that, their narrative is to push for a greater United States to have military bases all over the world to bop people over the head into compliance. My um, support is with the Iranian people, and I would advise new leaders in Iran is to get the bomb before you are bombed. Um, I had called last week in reference to the Commission of Inquiry on an inquiry in ancestral land. And I would like to know for leaders in Guyana that are listening, African leaders who are in the Granger administration at that time, to actually come on and talk about it and see what we can do, what we can do to actually hear about this commission of inquiry and bring it to light. And I hope that maybe Mr. Winston Jordan can say something about that. We've had Mr. Aubrey Norton and other officials who were part of that administration to come out and say something about it. That's my take.
Thank you for your call. I see somebody is saying that the US strategy against Cuba is working because the Cuban president is negotiating. Um, if you love your people enough, you will negotiate. But to what end? I know for a fact that the Cuban president said, my years of running this country is not a part of this discussion. Did you remember? Did you hear that? Or you weren't paying attention to that? He said, we ain't negotiating my presidency here. We're going to negotiate. We're going to talk about things. We're going to maybe talk about some, measures we could put in place and so on and so forth. My simple summarizing of what I heard. Right? We negotiating. We have to negotiate. They got us on the juris, so we negotiating on the juris. But we ain't discussing my leadership of this country. Is that what transpired? So I would say out of love for his people, the Cuban president recognized that Donald said, come and sit at the table and let's talk. I gotta go ahead and sit at the table and let's talk. But it is the what are we talking about? It is the what are we talking about? If you look at in this instance, I want to say, I want to be simplistic. I think Netanyahu, as an individual, or the Israeli government, has used Trump to fight their fight. Right? Likewise, the American foreign secretary, we name, gone out to Cuba. I think he is using Trump to fight his battle against the Cuban authorities. I don't know what the goals are, but the goals are, well, I read somewhere where he has a goals with the Cubans because I think the Cuban government must have caused the death of his parents or run them out of town or whatever the thing is. And so, I in charge now. It's me time now. And I got the ears of Trump, the leader of the most powerful country in the world. And they got differences with you too, so I'm going to stoke the flame and get them to pick up my fire rage. That's how I see it. That is how I see it. And as we're talking about that, I noticed this morning, I think the Cubans said that they're prepared to deal with any attack from the Americans. So why are we getting the impression that the Cubans will just roll over and die if the Americans were to make a move on them? I ain't say they're gonna be victorious or might be victorious, but I'm saying they ain't gonna roll over and die. So again, we're talking about disrupting the peace in this hemisphere and starting another war, which many of us might consider unnecessary. Is that what we want? Is that the kind of leadership we want? This world leadership, or this chaos we're being led into? Call you on.
What about the viewers? There's love greetings to everyone. Let's say you talk about what the ERC put out something and talk about um some where's it is sent us now. But anyway, let us start with there. Let us start there. We're hearing it from there. What they're talking about. Let us start it from right inside there. Racism, they're right in there. Let us start it, and everybody know, everybody see, since the PPP come to power and the ERC up and running and them kind of everybody, how it going. It say black people doing the wrong, and Indian people, and others of other ethnic groupings, even though even some black ones were is part of the cabal, you all kind of thing. And only one set and one type going in. So let us start it right there. Let us start it right there. This is it for now. I hear the other day, Brother Kodaki, you mentioned you put out the advice, like to Brother Narden advising you share your view and think that you feel that you should step back and think. I want to echo the same sentiment there because you know when you see you come off, even see it in sports and them kind of thing. When you see you happen to last the fight and last it in such a dread way, as to whether how people would want to say that it go and all kind of thing, and how we know and think the fact is, once you see that happen to you, you yourself just pull yourself away. And I want to use this 2 minutes to just advise brother RB Compton Narty. Brother, just ease yourself and and help to build the team and things stay back. Just ease after the press conferences and them kind of thing, other than talking about the PNC until I don't feel that you should come on the scene and talking about governmental things and them kind of things because it ain't sounding good. It's me view. It ain't sounding good. Because remember, you just come off. You got to be fair. You can only weaken the bunch. This is what you're gonna do. When people see you, brother Aubrey, when they see you, someone feel a lot, feel hurt and things. And this is with all due respect and love and talking. This is how the game go. The suffer got great loss. Just ease and concentrate on building the crew and put them out there. And I think you're gonna gain more than to putting yourself among there. Because the criticism and need and that is not right. We continue to go through something like that. If you're hearing Brother Compton, Brother RB Compton Norton, blessed love and power to the 12 disciples. Power.
Thank you for that call. Somebody is raising the issue of living under communism or dictatorship as a genuine concern. Yes, I believe people should be entitled to their freedoms and so on. But except take the log out to your own eye before you look for the speck in somebody else's eye. the allies and others who are talking about the status quo must change in Cuba and so on and so forth, they do business with China, as an example. The most recent, call him Newton Hole, the most recent study on, what was it, democratic practices around the world has shown that the world have has fallen back to pre-1978 democratic practices, if I remember clearly. So instead of us advancing democracy and we championing democracy, we're talking about democracy, instead of advancing it, the state of democratic practices around the world currently is what it was since in the 1970s. Guyana, the PPP like to talk about the return of democracy in 1992. Guyana now sits in a gray area. They can't define it as democratic, and they can't define it yet as autocratic. It is sitting right in the middle there because it has moved from all those democratic achievements or democratic growth, if I can call it that, and it is slid back. It slid back closer to dictatorship. And y'all talking about dictatorship and of being fearful of dictatorship. The one thing the Cubans know, if y'all want to see that, is that they live in a dictatorial country. In Ghana, we live in a country that masquerading as a democracy, but is more autocratic and dictatorial in the behavior of the representatives of state. That is more frightening for me. Call it on. You can speak.
Yeah, good morning to everyone. Now we're starting up with this ERC. The ERC had a lot of people, they're talking about the Africans in Guyana and how they are behaving. I could remember Gaza, and it had another could woman where the cuss out Rangers support somebody. She first started it, followed by Gaza. And what this country got to realize, that is not every African person going to sit down and allow these people to continue victimizing us. And as the time as it is going, there is a thin line between taking blows and giving blows. So if the ERC was to be a proper body, they would have first reining all those coolies who started to cause black people. Because if they didn't start, every action got a reaction. And now that the reaction come, they can't take it. Now moving along, I tell them over and over, the word bongo police is in the textbook. The Caribbean readers and other books that spoke about the history of how they came. And the first thing what the ERC should have done is get those books, get on to the persons who wrote them, and have them remove that from the textbook. Because once you learn something, it will stay with you. Only if you get dementia or Alzheimer's. And many people ain't got it, at least not me. Now coming back to Ampy, this man that spoke about Leader Norton taking a Buxton. When GCOM forced President Granger out, and President Granger decided not to say anything, the same people cuss and said Granger the bad. God Granger never said nothing. Now with all what GCOM do to Leader Norton is out there. And now people saying that Norton must step down. Now what these people want, they don't know what they want really, Because if Norton didn't say nothing to them, They were a cussy and only in a bad place, like how they got President Granger. What do these people really want from their leaders? Huh? If your leader do something and you cannot blame the leaders for don't winning an election where G comes. We went out there for 4 years asking for the clean voters list. The faithful 8, the faithful 10, the faithful 6. All of them tuck up. They didn't got time to come out and stand up with the faithful for clean voters list and biometrics. They're hollering now, moving along. You see this land thieving when they had Trevor Ben at lands and mines. They did all what they could do and they remove him. And the people who are at lands and mines giving all these cody people fictitious transport. Now there is a church on the west side, St. Jude's Anglican at Blankenburg, that had the land, the church land, for burial, and the church they have a school. The government get the school. Now what they did? They did say they got one trend to know all lands got boundaries by churches or canals. So what some people did, the new chairman, the PPP chairman, the father dig a trench parallel to the demarcation trench in for the land. And when she did going as the chairman, when the people like the PPP to get into the chairmanship, she advanced and to get the whole strip of the church land as their own. But the family always used to take from St. Jude's Church. And in the thieving from St. Jude's Church, many of them commit suicide. So I hope that the course now from the church land, because now people thief church money, anything to do with church, you thief, your end up be bitter. And I pray to God that He could answer the prayers of the St. Jude's Anglican Church. Because we are not church, is only white man left. And the white man would not have left a skimpish piece of land where they come to bury the dead. No, those churches of old know the act of win souls, and they know when time for them souls to depart, they had to be buried in the ground. And they had enough land to bury their deads. So that is what. So the land grabbing continues. And all those people at lands and mines who they place now can take people and transport, sell out the land under them, and then when they sell it out, they give the thieves thing. But you know what? Greed don't last long. Because I have seen many people who's got greed for money, for land, for this. We all, when we go back, either we burn or we go in a box and we can't take nothing. And when you're greedy in this lifetime, your mind just keep looking to grabble and greed, grabble and greed. About grabble and greed, you're going to study how you're going to keep your riches. So you have continue to scramble and take and take and take. Your life will not be happy. You see, wheelbarrow man, you know how much wealth he got? You see where they ain't happy. Me ain't got a wealth. Kedaki, you ain't got a wealth, and we are happy. Bye-bye.
Thank you for your call. I want to share with y'all something, the serenity prayer. God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and wisdom to know the difference. Living one day at a time, enjoying one moment at a time, accepting hardships as the pathway to peace, taking as He did this sinful world as it is, not as I would have it, trusting that He will make all things right. If I surrender to His will, that I may be reasonably happy in this life and supremely happy with him forever in the next. Amen. I like the prayer of serenity up to the point where it says, you know, God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can change, and wisdom to know the difference. That is my mantra. Good. Every couple morning we come here to discuss the leader of the PNC or the leader of the opposition, or we Compton Norton. Um, I have reached a point of acceptance. I think I've been there quite a while now, right? My point of acceptance is that the people will do as much as they could do for as long as they could do, um, and that is the reality. People will do what they want to do, how long they want to do, or they could do it. And we could come and we could talk hell and high water, and we ain't gonna be able to change anything. So every 2 morning we come here, we bring up Harvey Norton. My position is simple. Harvey Norton will remain leader of the PNC/APNU until such time that Harvey Norton decides that he ain't able to be leader no more, and he want to go home and relax with his children, grandchildren, spouse, and so on, and take care of his personal matters, or until the party which he represents, the delegates at the Congress, for example, vote resoundingly and send him home. This is why I don't fight up too much about talking with Harvey Norton, because at the end of the day, Harvey's presence at the leadership of the PNC or APNU is dependent on the membership of the APNU or PNC. And it is also dependent on his personal desires. Whether he wants to be there and take all of the insults and attacks on his person, that too is a fact. And as I'm talking about that, some people were asking me for days now to comment on Harvey's decision to sue Odessa Primus because of our utterances on social media. I'm in total agreement. If you feel that you've been aggrieved by these utterances and going to the court to seek redress is what is going to make you happy, so be it. It's a right. I support your right. I think it is also a message to people who believe it's okay to sit on social media and cuss you out and tell you all kinds of derisive things because you are a political activist or a political leader or a so-called public figure. There has to be a limit to how much people can take. And especially in this instance, an attack on Aubrey's credibility is not only an attack on Aubrey's credibility, it is an attack on the credibility of the institution which he leads. And so all those who see it as Aubrey taking Odessa to court because she made certain utterances about him, I see a bigger picture. I see a bigger picture. I see it as Aubrey taking steps not only to protect his own character, but also the organization that he represents. Because a lot of you comment, a lot of persons have commented on this issue without probably even reading his statement that was made. As I usually say, editors are the gateway to information. They decide what you know and what you don't know. And a lot of people wanting to tilt the discourse in a certain way only publish the question that says you should tell the people who taking borrowed money or something to the extent. And that is why I always tell people, get context before you comment. Because there are lots of other things that were said before that one-liner. And so all those who saying she ain't liable the man, she ain't this, she ain't that, because it's a question she asked, let them be honest. Let them be honest and show you the entire article or the entire publication which we made, and then take it from there and let people form their conclusions based on that. Call it on. Good morning.
Good morning, Kadaki. I just want to jump in right here. Good morning, Guyanese. We're talking about Aubrey, and is it right to sue a Primus? You know, I'm listening, and we are so disingenuous. We're so hypocritical. Aubrey came a week before and spoke about Azadine giving. He can't be talking about the Mohammeds and the whole. He was talking about who gives a person a bike. So obviously he was talking about Azadine Mohammed. Azadine father don't give anybody any bike. So we know you're talking about Aubrey. We know you're talking about Azadine. And he says, this is the person that was responsible for the Phantom Squad and the killings and so on and so forth. And at that time, Azadine was a teenager. Now, should Azadine take it up and sue Aubrey Norton? I mean, it's kind of petty. You came out 2 weeks before and you said this man gives someone a bike and that's why the person voted for him. Who gives out bikes? Is it the Mohammed father? Is it the sister? And then he implicated Azadine in the Phantom Squad. Did Azadine sue? I think he should sue. You suing my general secretary. I think Azadine should look at that. Now, if he dropped that case, I think Azadine should do the same. We got to stop being petty. We in the opposition, and we need to work together. Either we do it now or we do it later. It got to be done. But I think Azadine got to look at that. I think I would pull a lawsuit on Aubrey. Listen. Aubrey needs to stay where Aubrey is. He should stay leader. He should stay behind the scene. He's a good strategist. He's an educated guy. You know what I mean? He's a good politician. He just doesn't fit in certain positions. And we saw that from the results of the elections, right? But I would never, now he's not a good looking guy and he's not, he can't get the job done when it's time to bring people together. But there's a place for Aubrey. And I will continue to say that. Right? So, love you guys. I hope I made an impact and bringing this thing together. They gotta stop this nonsense with these petty suits, especially against in the opposition grouping. If you're suing the PPP, yeah, we're gonna do that. But you don't sue somebody in the opposition that you're supposed to be working with. Anyway, bye-bye. Love you guys.
Thank you for your call. It's one of the reasons I don't generally engage in the discourse of Aubrey and this person, that person, and the other person, because it takes the program in places I don't want it to go. Right? But let me say this. Just as I believe Martin has a right to defend his character and his person, as you didn't know, they say anybody else has a right to defend their character and their person. But one of the difference I want, I'm responding to this based on what I heard John Thompson said. One of the difference here is that, according to John Thompson, a few weeks ago or something, Aubrey insinuated he did not identify. And that's a fundamental difference. He made his utterances and left it up to the imagination of the people. Let them decide who he's talking about. But Odessa didn't do the same, right? His name was called, and that's the difference. That's a fundamental difference. That's a fundamental difference. And fast forward to the talk about who was a teenager and who was a minor and who was a major. Call him Newton Holy Line. During the days of the Phantom Squad, I will tell you this, and I've said it and I've said it without apologies prior to now. The Muhammad's name, no, the Muhammad's name has long been associated with a lot of wickedness perpetrated against the people of this country under the PPP. It was the senior Mohammed who said when Donna McKinnon was murdered, they had gun or guns in Freedom House. That is enough of a testimony for me to justify my position that they have been a part of the oppression and the destruction of the people of this country. And for that, I know I won't be forgiving anybody. So I will always keep that at the forefront of my mind. Yeah, people could change, but people got to prove that change. It's as simple as that. The onus is on them to convince me to start with and others that they have changed. Caller, you can unmute and speak.
Honor, Mr. Kadaki. We always find reasons to defend our oppressors. We always find the reasons. Oh, the boy was a little boy when this thing happened. Well, we're out here fighting for reparations, right? The people that we're fighting for reparations are fighting to pay us our money, right? We shouldn't be fighting them according to this scholar because those people weren't around during slavery, right? We weren't around during slavery. But brother man, listen to me. He gained from it. He gained from it and it has propelled him to be leader of his party. And of such, we're going to beat him for it. From now till thy kingdom come. He was a part and the founder of the oppressive machinery. And for you to come and say he was a young man and we must learn to forgive, we ain't forgiven for that. He was a young man of today. What his dad did and what his dad gained from, he is now throwing it in our face. He is now using that to buy votes. And we know that he bought votes. The only party that did not buy votes was APNU, right? He gained from the oppression of our people. And he still continues to keep our people in subjugation. Proxy for PPE. So you could say what you want to say, John Thompson. It's going to remain the same. Have a good day.
Good morning, Kadaki, and good morning to your viewers and your listeners. It is good to know that our opposition is highlighting the discrimination and the incompetence of this wicked government. That is very good of them. But I listen to Flash Garden, who speak about fire and smoke in the air. And Mr. Hines speak about the revolution. I think these are very much needed because talking and exposing is not enough. PPP did it in the 70s when they were born among the kings, sugarcane and destroying this sugarcane industry. They also have to bring it down. So I think we should listen to Mr. Hines and Flash and do likewise because PPP did it. They born a lot of buildings and a lot of estate and did a lot of things during the time. So talk is good, but I think we need something more than that. We protest, we do all kind of thing, but then work. All year, 5 years we protest on voter list and nothing. So I think we should do something else now. Thank you.
Very Kidaki, morning viewers, morning all right in the guy news. Very Kidaki, pretending that guy from London. You see what problem and damage control it cause to Odessa Primer? And the quantity of damage control Odessa Primer caused to our own self. Come on, bro. We don't know you don't have money. You cuss out the PNC and say they don't have money. And now you're crying crocodile tears on that guy from a London show, Mr. Brown. Come on, bro. Come on, bro. Let Mr. Brown help you. You had a chance to pay 500,000. Now you got to pay 10 million. Maybe so who gonna save you? Even to the liar where got there, the liar gonna eat you because the liar know. The liar know that you're guilty of what you have said. And you hear the word we're using. Don't apologize to Mr. Norton. Because you know why? You want to hit you out. And they, sometimes I just tell myself, you tell yourself you're intelligent, you are some jackasses. You understand me? Look at you. Look at you, you don't have not a penny. You got to depend on Mohammed money right now. The next jackass money, you got to depend on. The next idiot, what call himself opposition leader. What a disgrace of this country. Gonna push 2 wheelbarrow money. Oh God, what kind of madness is that? That's one of the most maddest thing I ever see in my whole entire life. This man know the constitution. This man is opposition leader of this country. Don't care it and twist it. And that is the embarrassment this man causing on them scrapes that they call them. And those don't stocks, yeah, better come home. This man are no good for Guyana. No good for Guyana. Understand me? And big up to Mr. Norton. That press conference. Big up yourself. Big up yourself, Honorable Mr. Aubrey Compton Norton, for what you have said. I there with you 100%. You understand me? Because this nonsense have to stop. You understand me? Let us show the evidence, like how we show the evidence of everything that this installed PPP government done to Guyanese people in this country. You understand me? Let's show the evidence that you take money from that ballet criminal. We don't know where he is today. We know if he dead or whatsoever. We know where the man there, or if he in prison in America or whatsoever. You understand me? These are the people that we have to deal with. I calling on all these people that they call scrapes. Yeah, better come on back to roost. We have a sweet 12. A beautiful 12, an intelligent 12, a 12 with integrity. Come on, bro. Y'all wake up. Y'all wake up, black people, wake up. This is the wake-up call we get in. Mr. Don should sue you for 20 million. You understand me? Not 10 million, 20 million should sue you for. For bring it in a truckload. Now we'll borrow this time a truck. Y'all only disgracing, y'all supporting disgracing the country of Guyana. And in the diaspora, they're disgracing yourself and those fellows.
Good morning, Kadaki and the world. Why is this government taking so much advantage on the elderly, the pensioners, putting them back for get up early in the morning for line up a post for stamp book and that kind of thing when this process is running smooth. Up to that day when they're bringing them in G and them places. This process is running smooth. Why is it not taking advantage for pensioners? Because the friends, family, and favorites Singapore, the post office, they could stay where they collect their own. We have to open bank book up with them pensioners who know nothing but the technology. And they got people who look after the technology, but still, they can't go to the post office to collect their money at that time. What happened to them? Why are they taking so much advantage from pensioners? The father, grandfather, grandmother, the chachi, pachi, little bit chachi. None of them ain't got forgotten on way. But they are ordinary people. They print extra books since extra pages 2024. Say you're gonna get something. Not even the Christmas 25,000 Christmas bonus you get, but they have to throw away money gone there. They'll print 2 extra pages here now. Now they're telling about stamp book every month. If it's the because now the post office say you got to stamp the book every month. Man, these people stop take advantage from the elderly people. And look, see how the family living and see if the other elderly can live the same way. Bye. Morning again.
Kadaki, blessings and good morning to you and our listeners from the four corners of the globe. Kadaki, my contribution this morning. Why this government using black police officers to go around to intimidate black people who squatting on land and interrogating them. Kadaki, that's something behind that. But they're using the black people to go like places like Mocha and Friendship and all these places where black dominance reside. But you know what? Exposing them and opening them, all these big contracts, these large contracts, you're taking them and you're giving it to Indian people. And you're trying to convince the Americans and the world at large that everything is normal and going good in Guyana. Guyana is in a mess now. It is in a total mess. And the only way things could ever go good and go right and go in a democratic way, these thieves, crooks, bandits have to remove. Karaki, it's sad, but I am out and listening.
Good morning, Kadaki and the world. Why is it this government taking so much advantage on the elderly, the pensioners, putting them back for get up early in the morning for like the post office for stamp book and that kind of thing when this process is running smooth. Up to that day when they're bringing them in G and them places, this process is running smooth. Why is it not taking advantage for pensioners? Because the friends, family, and favorite Singapore, the post office, they could stay where they collect their own. We have to open bank book up with them pensioners so they know nothing but the technology. And they got people who look after the technology, but still they can't go to the post office to collect their money at that time. What happened there? Why they taking so much advantage from pensioners? The father, grandfather, grandmother, the chachi, achi, pachi, little bit chachi. None of them ain't got forgotten on me. What they are ordinary people. They print extra books since extra pages since 2024. Say you're gonna get something. Not even the Christmas 25,000 Christmas bonus you get, but they have to throw away money gone there. Now print 2 extra pages here now. Now they're telling about stamp book every month. If it's the because now the post office say you got stamp the book every month. Man, these people stop take advantage from the elderly people. And look, see how the family living and see if the other elderly can live the same way. Bye. Morning again.
All right, it's 18 minutes past the 9 o'clock hour. You would agree that I spent a long time here. We're 18 minutes past the program time. There are lots of other issues which people have raised, but we can't deal with all of the issues. Right? We can't deal with all of the issues. I see somebody said they asked their close relatives who are from Linden, some of them, whether or not they were paid to vote to win. And they said no, not a blind cent. I have no reason to doubt that. I don't believe that Win paid every voter who voted for them. And I think there's some misconceptions people got when people say this party bought votes or that party bought votes. It didn't buy the vote of every person. It bought the vote of the influential people. When the PPP hires lobbyists, it's not to pay every citizen to vote for them, but it's the lobbyist to use all of his influences to get every citizen to vote for them. You gotta understand that. So when you say people buy votes to a large extent, you're simply saying they engage in vote buying in that they bought influence. I think the PPP got certain people in certain communities parading them up and down and so on, and showing that they switch from this party to that party, and making it look as though they got so much benefits that will come to them and benefits that has come to them and so on. It is because, as we like to say, perception is everything. They want others to perceive them as good and perceive them as providing opportunities. And so when, for example, as it is claimed, win by 10 influencers, people see 10 influencers driving fancy car, living the big life because of win, they tell themselves, hey, I can position myself right there, me time coming too, I can get. And so, yeah, you could ask the family if they get paid to vote and they can tell you no. But people were paid to influence them to vote. And they were influenced. I can understand this thing. Right? Y'all have a good day. I personally believe that as political activists, as public figures, we have a right to defend ourselves however we see fit. We also have a right to be mindful of how we drag each other in the mud. And if you're bold enough to drag a man in the mud without the necessary justification or the necessary proof, then be prepared for the consequences. As simple as that. I was telling my friend, a very personal friend of mine yesterday, I said, I don't like police story, I don't put myself in the way of the police, So you ain't gonna find me doing anything that's gonna attract police presence and so ordinarily. But if in the course of me doing my politics, others or the police themselves choose to put the police in a collision course with me, then I'm prepared to deal with that. That might be a consequence of me doing my politics. I could live with it. I could deal with it. Right? But ordinarily, I don't put myself in police way. I stay as far from police as I can. And trouble as I can. I stay off the road. I just walk in the car now, even in my own yard. Good? You have to utilize the thing what God gave you. Y'all have a good day. Love y'all. I love y'all. I ain't talking a word about. I live the love. See you tomorrow. Goodbye.